Your cat kneads you with her paws. You know this motion. You've seen it hundreds of times. She comes, settles beside you or on you, and begins. Left paw, left, right, slow, rhythmic, sometimes with closed eyes, sometimes with a slightly open mouth, sometimes with quiet purring you feel before you hear. You think she's just getting comfortable, or massaging, or doing what cats do. You don't know what's actually happening, and when you find out, you'll never look at this moment the same way again. Because in this moment, she isn't just needing you. She is returning to the very beginning of her life. And in this moment, you are not her owner. You are her mother. There is one thing about this motion, the fourth on this list, that scientists discovered only recently, and which will change how you understand your animal forever. Get ready. 1. It began on the first day of her life, and never stopped. Let's start from the very beginning, literally. A kitten is born blind, deaf, and completely helpless. The only thing it has is its mother, the warmth of her body, the smell of her fur, and milk. For the milk to come, the kitten must stimulate the mother's mammary glands. It does this with its paws, left, right, soft rhythmic pressure, over and over. The milk flows, the kitten lives. This motion is the first conscious action a kitten performs in life. The first thing that works, the first thing that produces a result, the first thing that connects it to safety, warmth, food, and its mother simultaneously. The kitten's neural system records this with absolute precision. This motion equals safety. This motion equals warmth. This motion equals everything being okay. And here is what's important to understand. Kittens that were separated from their mothers too early need more often, more intensely, longer. They are searching for what they didn't receive in sufficient quantity. This is not a habit. This is a need recorded in the neural system at a level that doesn't yield to conscious control. When your adult cat needs you, she isn't remembering kittenhood. She is returning to it completely. For a few minutes, the world is again what it was at the very beginning. Safe, warm, right. 2. Why you specifically, and why not everyone? Did you notice that she doesn't need everyone, that she comes to some people with this and walks away from others? This is not random. This is the most precise declaration a cat is capable of making. Cats need only those they trust completely, not just those who feed them, not just those who live nearby, those in whose presence their nervous system enters a state they last felt beside their mother, the state of absolute safety. Research conducted at the University of Lincoln tracked the behavior of cats in the presence of different people. The result was unambiguous. Cats displayed behaviors associated with early kittenhood, purring, kneading, rubbing against humans, exclusively in the presence of those to whom they had primary attachment. Not just affection, primary attachment specifically. When she comes to you and begins this motion, she is telling you something. Not in words. She doesn't have words. She is telling you that you have become for her what her mother was, the place from which safety comes, the only being in her world in whose presence she can completely let go. This is not a compliment. This is more than a compliment. This is the highest trust a cat is capable of expressing to a living being. 3. What happens in her brain in this moment? This is measured. When a cat begins to need, oxytocin rises in her blood, the same attachment hormone that in humans is released during hugs, during breastfeeding, during contact with a loved one. Simultaneously, cortisol drops, the stress hormone. The parasympathetic nervous system activates, the one responsible for rest and recovery. The body literally switches from anxiety mode to safety mode, through movement, through rhythm, through touch with you. But here is what few people know. The same thing happens with you. Research published in the journal Anthrozoos documented people who allow their cat to knead on them for several minutes show significantly reduced cortisol levels. Heart rate normalizes. The same parasympathetic system activates. One contact, two organisms, one chemistry. She calms herself and calms you simultaneously, without words, just left paw, right paw, over and over. This is mutual therapy that you perform on each other every evening. Neither of you knows this is called therapy. It's just evening, couch, her, you. 4. Here is what researchers didn't expect. I mentioned this at the beginning. This is what scientists discovered quite recently and what changes everything. For a long time, kneading was considered regressive behavior, a return to kittenhood, something like an adult human sucking their thumb, a remnant of an early infant reflex that should have disappeared but didn't. Scientists treated it condescendingly, cute but immature. Then the data arrived. A research group from the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna conducted a large-scale study of kneading in adult cats. They measured everything: frequency, intensity, duration, context. And they found something unexpected. Cats that knead more often showed significantly lower chronic cortisol levels, significantly higher stress resilience, significantly better immune system markers. Cats that never knead or knead rarely got sick more often demonstrated anxious behavior, more often had immune system problems. Kneading turned out to be not regression. Kneading turned out to be a self-developed mechanism of emotional regulation. She isn't stuck in kittenhood. She found a way to return to a state of safety whenever she needs it. And that way is you, your presence, your temperature, your scent, your breathing nearby. She isn't just needing you. She is using you as a healing instrument, and in doing so, she heals you in return. 5. Why the claws? And why it hurts. This is something romantic cat articles don't talk about, because it's an uncomfortable truth. When she needs, sometimes claws, sometimes it hurts. And you remove her, or wince, or say no. And she stops, looks at you, leaves. Here is what is actually happening. Claws during kneading are not aggression. They are not carelessness. They are a sign of the depth of immersion. The deeper the cat goes into the state of safety, the less conscious her movements become. She literally loses control of the intensity. Just like a kitten at its mother. It doesn't think about how hard it's pressing. It just presses. Claws appear when she is completely with you, completely open, completely trusting. When you remove her in this moment, you are interrupting the most vulnerable state she is capable of reaching. Don't remove her. Put a blanket between you, or just endure it. Because this moment, when she is so completely with you that she loses control, is not an inconvenience. It is an honor. 6. Why she purrs during kneading. Purring during kneading is not just accompaniment, it is part of the same mechanism. Kittens purred during nursing. Purring signaled to the mother, "I'm here, I'm feeding, everything is okay." The mother purred in response, "I'm here, you're safe, continue." It was a dialogue, silent to outsiders, full of meaning for the two of them. When an adult cat purrs during kneading on you, she is conducting that same dialogue with you. You have taken the mother's place in this conversation. She is telling you that she is here, that she is okay, that you are the right place. The frequency of cat purring, from 25 to 150 hertz, coincides with frequencies used in medicine for stimulating tissue healing, strengthening bones, and reducing inflammation. This is not coincidence. This is evolution. Cats developed a frequency that heals themselves, and which simultaneously has a therapeutic effect on everything living nearby. When she purrs on you, she is literally vibrating you, your tissues, your bones, your nervous system. This sounds incredible. It is documented. 7. When kneading is a distress signal, this is what every cat owner must know. Not all kneading is the same. There is kneading from safety, the kind we've been talking about, and there is kneading from anxiety. The difference is in context and intensity. Kneading from safety. She came on her own, settled, started slowly, is purring, eyes half closed, body relaxed. Kneading from anxiety, compulsive, she cannot stop, needs blankets or soft surfaces in your absence. Intensity increases rather than decreases, no relaxation afterward. The second is a signal. A cat that needs compulsively in your absence or in moments of stress is using this mechanism not to return to safety, but to attempt to create it where it doesn't exist. Like a person who taps their foot or bites their nails, not from boredom, from anxiety. If you notice compulsive kneading combined with other stress signs, refusing food, hiding, aggression, excessive grooming, That's reason to pay attention. She is telling you something is wrong, in the only language she has. 8. What happens if you always move her away? This is an uncomfortable topic, but an important one. Many people move their cat when she begins to need. Too heavy, claws, inconvenient, no time, understandable. But here is what happens to her as a result. She comes in a vulnerable state, in the most open state she is capable of reaching, and receives rejection, not once, again and again. Cats don't draw conclusions immediately, but they draw them gradually. After a few weeks of systematic rejection, she starts coming less often. After a few months, she almost stops. Not because she stopped loving, because she learned that this place is not safe for vulnerability, that opening up here means being rejected. You think you're just moving a cat off your lap? Actually, you are slowly closing a door she was opening for you. Research shows cats living with owners who regularly interrupt needing show higher chronic stress levels, more anxious behavior, less pronounced attachment, not because the owners are bad, simply because they didn't know. Now you know. Next time she comes and begins, left paw, right paw, don't immediately move her away. Wait. Place your hand nearby. Feel the rhythm. She has returned to the very first day of her life and brought you with her. She needs you because you are the only being in her world with whom she can do this, because you became her mother, her safety, her first day, every evening, without words, without conditions, left paw, right paw, again. This isn't just emotion. This is the entire conversation she has. Write in the comments. Does your cat need you? Often or rarely? Just write and subscribe. Every video here reveals what your cat has been trying to say all along.